what do you know? Well, what do you know? If you ever have a question about if something's happening or something going right, just follow the money. Hey, yo, what's up? My name is Harold. This is Coding with Strangers, and I like to get my money up, not my funny up. You feel me? Clap it. I think this AI boom is over. And you're probably wondering, Harold, how could you say that? Every VC commercial, once you start seeing mainstream commercial, once you start seeing Expedia offer you commercials and saying our app has been improved because now you can use AI to book your flight. When did I need AI to book my flight? What benefits have I gotten from that? Once you start seeing AI being inserted into things that are utterly useless, I think AI was used. I went to a gas station recently, and when I went to go pay for my gas, the attendant I walked up to pay for my gas told me, no, you have to use the AI machine. That's not an AI machine, sir. That's a self-service machine. And the reason why I'm not using it is because that shit didn't work. That's why I came in here. You think I come inside to pay for my gas? I'm not a boomer. Don't insult me, man. Take this goddamn 20 and put it on 1. But needless to say, if you have any questions about, if something's legitimate, just see where the money is. Ask the people who are spending money. If they look like they're sweating, if they look like they probably invested enough money into a company to have that company replace them on the most profitable companies list, maybe it's time for you to pause. Could you imagine you've invested so much goddamn money into a company that they passed you up on the profitability on the richest company list? Nvidia did that to you, Microsoft, because of OpenAI. But it seems like the thing is the gist, the hype is calming down. It's calming down like second season of Black Clover. Where'd all the hype go? And I am of the mindset that if you are going to tamper down on your investment into OpenAI or AI components, you have a moral obligation as Microsoft, being the forefront, the thought leaders on this, to come out and say something definitive. Don't cower in this moment. Right? Don't do it. Don't cower. Don't make yourself seem like you're not sure about something. Stand up and take the charge like a real man. You feel me? Or a real woman. Shout out to Nigeria beating Austria in basketball. The Olympics don't feel real, but let's get a little bit of a better idea how Microsoft is slowing down its investment. How Microsoft slowing down its investment into OpenAI spells bad, B-A-D, for all these other gimmicks that AI has been trying to bring up, right? Microsoft slows cloud growth signals AI payoff will take longer. Take longer? How much time you got? To next quarter? All right. July 30th, Reuters, who wrote this shit? There's 3 motherfuckers on this byline. Anya Tong, Yudri Malik, and Aditi Soni. I think I've read something by Udrick before. Microsoft said it would spend more money this fiscal year to build out AI infrastructure even as growth slowed in its cloud business. Another sign the payoff from hefty investments in technology may take longer than Wall Street had hoped. They're taking money out of their cloud infrastructure to build out AI. That's also another. They said something without saying them. Does that mean that OpenAI didn't have the infrastructure for the hype that they were building? Or was that always part of the game plan? You never really know with these things. Shares fell 7% on the spending forecast, but paired losses to trade down 4% after the bell on Tuesday, after Microsoft said on a post-earning call that Azure cloud growth would accelerate in the second half of the fiscal 2025. Big technology companies have been pouring billions of dollars into data centers to capitalize on the generative AI boom. Google parent Alphabet warned last week that its capital spending would stay elevated for the rest of the year. Google's really trying to play catch up. And I know like AI kind of runs in a cloud base, so like AWS, Azure, they're all, by definition, in order for their AI systems to become better, their cloud infrastructure has to become better. So that makes sense. But for Google to blatantly say like, yo, we're not taking our foot off the pedal. And I don't really think like Google's that far behind. In order, I think Microsoft, Google, and maybe Google and Apple. I feel like all of the things that, but by direct competition, Apple is with OpenAI, so there's a lot. There's a lot of competition, but there's more than enough space at the top. That's what I'm getting at. Microsoft said its capital spending rose 77.6% to $19 billion. So they spent an additional $6 billion. They're at $13 billion, $19 billion into the fiscal fourth quarter. At the end of June 30th, so just last month, fucking $6 billion more dollars, with cloud and AI related spending accounting for nearly all the expenditures for all fiscal 2024. They're going so heavy into this. It's kind of scary. No? Capital spending total at $55.7 billion. Group CFO Amy Hood said the spending was necessary to support demands of AI services, and the company was invested in assets that will be monetized over 15 years and beyond. Still, investors who have run up Microsoft stock by nearly a quarter in the past 12 months of AI optimism were disappointed with the Azure growth. Disappointed with the Azure growth. For a company to have spent so much money on infrastructure, and it's not all infrastructure spending isn't good infrastructure spending, because the important thing you have to remember about this AI boom stuff, we don't really know what it can do, and by definition, we don't know what we need to do in order to get it to do what we need it to do. For example, the amount of copious amounts of energy these AI towers need and these data centers need to query this data is just 1/10 of the issue. Literally, I believe it was Microsoft. They were doing experiments to submerge data centers in submarines underwater to use deep cooling water currents in the ocean's depth to keep these data centers cool. The amount of heat these things put off, if I'm hearing it correctly, is astronomical. It's kind of disturbing, and the data centers just can't go anywhere. The electrical sound impact of these things, and the electrical waves, and the heat radiating from them, literally disrupts ecosystems for miles. So it's becoming quite inherent that like the infrastructure they're building might literally be to contain the damage capacity of these things. The amount of water and the amount of energy are just two things. And to know that if you told me AI was supposed to run on infrastructure and power grids that were built in the 60s, that's like telling me a car from the 60s is supposed to be out here in an F1 race. It just doesn't make sense. Something has to give. Microsoft predicted that the business would grow 28% to 29% on a constant currency based on July-September quarter compared to the estimated 29.7% according to Visible Alpha. That followed a 29% rise in the quarter ending in June 30th, which was below estimates of 30.6% and marked a slowdown from the previous 3 months. So they have no excuse. The numbers don't lie. They're not growing at the rate that they thought, and it's because a lot of the money isn't going towards growth as much as is being used for internal infrastructure growth. Like, so it's not growth that can be seen, it's growth that's within the inner circles of Microsoft, which to investors, as a person who's invested, full disclosure, I was listening to the call this morning on the way to work. They didn't have the enthusiasm in their voice. It didn't read well. The street doesn't have a lot of patience. Ooh, talk about it. They see you spending billions of dollars and they want to see a pickup in revenue. Talk about it, said Daniel Morgan, senior portfolio manager at Fairview Trust, which holds shares in Microsoft. So the people are talking, and oh man, that's a bold ass statement. If these companies do not hit it out of the ballpark and are far better than estimated, then they are going to be knocked back, he added. Wow, was he a fucking gangster? Oh my goodness. This seems very threatening. I don't like that. They're going to be knocked out? While overall Azure growth slowed, AI services accounted for a large portion of the increase in revenue in the June quarter, 8% points compared to 7% points. Yeah, these are minuscule, 1-1. CEO Satya Nadella said that Azure AI was now used by more than 60,000 customers, up nearly 60% year over year, and that the average spend per customer continues to grow. But this is in itself a cap that Netflix has experienced. We learned this from Netflix, right? Netflix realized that not only does everyone have Netflix, fuck, everybody and their dog has Netflix. So what happens when every company has Netflix and there's no more people to give Netflix to? What's going to be your go-to plan? You're going to have to nickel and dime them. This is the consequence of capitalism. Because you must always make more money, there's literally no way to not be satisfied. Nadal has pushed the company to go all in on technology, weaving AI into almost every product, from search engine Bing to productivity software such as Word, also Large parts of those efforts have been fueled by technology from OpenAI, in which Microsoft has invested $13 billion, including the 365 Copilot assistant for enterprise. The productivity business, home to Office suite of apps, LinkedIn, and 365 Copilot, posted growth of 11% compared to the expectation of 10%. Once again, these are all minuscule things that no real investor is gonna like. That's not enough to drive. And I'll give Microsoft the slack and credit it deserves. Their Q4 ending in June is ideal because they want to start off with a strong push. Holiday season. At the end of summer, school starting, back to school shopping requires PCs and all this thing. And those NPCs, those Copilot Plus PCs are going to be coming out that use heavy AI resolution. So that's going to be an early investment, that return that they're going to be able to see. So there's two parts to me there. Do I think that there's a slowdown in AI? Yes. But do I think that's the reason why Microsoft is not seeing numbers? No, I think it's because Microsoft literally doesn't have any products out that can make use of the AI. And that was because a lot of it had to be built via the infrastructure. Those PC plus 360s, we covered that a few weeks back. The PCs that can take pictures all of your computers and shit like that. Those are being manufactured now to be sold during the holiday season. So they had to find a way of mass producing those individual chips and making sure their agreements with NVIDIA and so on and so forth are all possible. Once again, OpenAI has become very contentious in the question of, is it going to be profitable now? Microsoft's pumping the brakes and probably saying no, it's not going to be. But it still doesn't stop them from using integration. And I think the integration is when they'll start to see more of a profit. I think the model of AI is going to change from it being an assistant to it becoming a gatherer of information. the amount of information that it's going to have access to when it's on everyone's phone and everyone's PC is truly going to make a difference at what this is capable of doing. And I honestly see OpenAI, and every company really has this, but every company has a miscellaneous item where they're data brokers now. OpenAI is going to, and with them now wanting to even challenge Google with them having their own search bar, it does beg the question that, like, yo, is it trying to be an assistant, or is it just becoming the most nosy piece of software known to man? And I lean towards it being the more nosy one. But the numbers say it all, but it's hard for me to judge these numbers when none of the products that are promised with AI are out right now. So if you want to be fair and balanced, I don't think the slowing effect can be dictated just off of this article or just off of their Q4 results, right? If those laptops do sell, which I don't think they're going to, if they do sell, then they have reason to believe that, things are going to matter. But if my hunch is correct, when am I ever wrong on this channel? Come on now. When am I ever wrong? I don't think they're going to sell because those things are going to be intrusive, scary, and schools already trying to find ways of stopping people from wanting to cheat. I don't think that shit's going to land well. It reminds me of when Bill Belichick punched the Surface Pro. When he punched that, remember that football game when he's like he kept calling it iPad even though it was a Windows product. Bill Belichick is legendary, and I heard now he's banging some 25-year-old. Gross. But he's going through a midlife crisis or a boomer life crisis. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. Are you gonna buy one of these things? Do you think the AI slow is happening? What is the most useless thing you've ever seen AI being implemented in? Let me know in the comment section below. Clap it. Yeah.